Hi everyone. I'm in Belize in Central America, and I've been wanting to create a video to talk about, well, several things that have been coming up. As we know, these have been pretty crazy times. A lot of darkness has been coming up to be recognized and transmuted. And we're seeing this certainly in the political arena, at Standing Rock, with the water protectors peacefully protesting to protect the water, and which is really speaking for the world. I think what happens at Standing Rock is so huge. It's so important, and why so many are being called there. Um, so we are individually being called out of complacency, out of denial of what is really going on. It's hard, a lot of us are overwhelmed by, just so many things happening at once, but it's happening fast. And it's really important to, you know, basically the sooner we can, as a collective, stand up for all that is, you know, of the light, and making new choices and gathering together and praying and transmuting darkness, and just all these things are so important right now. This is just not the time for head in the sand. It's, no more mainstream news. We know that mainstream news is delivering untruths. So much is out there that, you know, is revealing the truth that we need to see. But there is alternative news, and alternative news is revealing some astounding information that's really indisputable. The powers that were want to deem it as, conspiracy theories, but no, it uh, just, if you want to know the truth, it's out there. And we really have to recognize it, but stay above it is key. See it from a higher perspective, that this is what is going to shift us as we recognize what is going on, shining the light, standing for the light. Because as Archangel Michael says, we are moving into a heavenly earth no matter how it looks. So always keep the higher perspective. We are being called in many different ways to help do this. Some of us are, changing our work and maybe going into healing. A lot of people need help right now. Writing about it, consulting with people, being part of prayer groups, um, possibly changing locations so that you're, where you live, so that you're in a location that needs your light. So we're being guided like never before. And when we just truly trust what we are getting, whether it's through synchronicity, um, which is a very powerful guiding force, or, our angels connecting with us, or whatever it is, there are so many guideposts right now that are telling us what needs to be done, each individually. And for me, it has been, in recent months, to travel. I never would have expected to be traveling like I am. I haven't been out of the country since 1985, um, other than Canada. And but in the summer, our landlord, I was living with my daughter at the time, and our landlord said that, they were going to sell the house, so we had to move. And I mean, it's a long story, but basically, my daughter, was ready to, she's a young adult. She was ready to flee the nest, and my son is on his own, independent too. So I mean, it's a long story, but basically, I just knew that it was time to go certain places. And the first place I went was Brazil to see John of God. And then I went to Europe, to France, Italy, Slovenia, and Spain. And now I'm in Belize. So since July 31st, I've been living out of 2 suitcases. And everything I own is in one storage compartment. So, again, it's not something I would have expected. And, if someone were, you know, to really know my story, they would think I'm absolutely crazy because, I'm basically have no income and I'm doing this on, some savings that I have and just totally trusting, not knowing what is next. I'm going to be home to see my kids for Christmas, but I truly am not sure what I'm going to do after that. But it's interesting because I'm finding that so many people, and it's of course not for everyone. I couldn't have done this 10 years ago, being a mom, but so many are being guided, to travel and be in certain places at certain times. It's really fascinating. When I was in France, all of a sudden, two friends that I know were in France at the same time. When I was in Brazil, I had never known anyone who went to see John of God until my friend went to see him and showed him my picture, and then he invited me to come to the casa. Until then, I never knew anyone that had. And then once that happened, all of a sudden I know several people that went to see John of God. So people are being kind of planted all around the world right now, literally having your energy, your DNA, at different places in the world. And a lot of it is about anchoring in the divine feminine energies, anchoring in the light, transmuting the darkness. So that's just one specific way. Your way may be totally different. But the fact is that we're all being called. We are all being called to do something to help serve this change. So, and of course, you may know already this and you're already doing your own thing. I'm just sharing this for those that are kind of questioning or feeling that they don't, kind of unsure, not trusting. But when the signs are there, there's no disputing it really. Because here's an example. So I was in the south of France, and it's somewhere that I've wanted to go for a long time. If I just heard the phrase south of France, I could almost cry because the whole connection with Mary Magdalene, and I do feel I was a Cathar in a past life. And, the Cathars revered Mary Magdalene, and they were massacred in Montségur hundreds of years ago. And I knew that when I did go to south of France, I need to go to, the Cathar country to do some healing work. So one day I stayed in Cathar country. It was just amazing. Everything was very blessed. Everything was very guided, and I just trusted. And I went to Montségur and for the day. It's about an hour from where I was staying. And I walked up to where there is a field where it is believed that the Cathars were massacred. So I knew that's where I wanted to go to do the healing work. And I just happened to have the most unbelievable timing because this large group was gathering to do a healing circle. And the leader of the circle came up to me and invited me to be a part of this. Well, I could not deny that I was supposed to be there. So yes, I, was a part of that circle. And Michael, whispered to count the number of people that were there. And there were 44. But when I got to the 43rd person, who was directly in front of me in that circle, my jaw dropped because it was a woman that I had seen in Brazil just a month before. And I felt very connected to her. And I wanted to talk to her, but we weren't able to connect. And I thought, oh, it's just not meant to be. But I just felt like I knew her on a soul level. And, here I am in Montsegur, in this group of 44 people, and there she is a month later across the world. So after the healing, I just couldn't wait to go see her, and she was just stunned. So, and we ended up seeing each other a few times. It was wonderful. We have so much in common. In fact, she's an author and wrote 4 books. I wrote 4 books. Her name's Maria, but she considers it Mary, and I'm Mary. And she's writing a chapter on a book when Mary meets Mary. She's a film documentary. She creates film documentaries, and that's what I want to do. And at the time, she was a nomad. At the time, I'm a nomad. So it was really, truly magical and miraculous what happened. And then she introduced me to some of her friends, and this one woman said, oh, you should come to this dance we're going to tonight. I said, oh, where is it? She said, in Serres. And I said, Serres? I said, that's where I'm staying, and it's an hour away. And she said, yeah, Marcos is hosting it. I said, Marcos is my landlord, through Airbnb. And it turns out that where I was staying, I backed up to where the dance was being held that night, and I went. And then all these people from the healing circle were there. Just utterly amazing. I still get goosebumps from that. Oh, as it turned out, this group only does 1 healing per year. They have never done it in Europe. And they were in Montsegur when I was there. It just still, see, so when things like that happen, you know that you're in the right place. There's no question, it's just mind-blowing. So I really have no question. Just like being here in Belize. I'm here, it's like, I'm in Belize. Like, I just would never have thought I'd be spending, just over a month here. But it's so divine because I'm by a lot of water. I'm on this little peninsula, in the middle of a peninsula in southeastern part of this country. And I have a lagoon right here, and the Caribbean is just a 5-minute walk. And I just know that I need to be by water to work with the water. So every day I'm out in the water, and it's been amazing. So, but conventionally, it looks crazy, doesn't it? But this is what a lot of people are doing now. We're being called to do things that are out of convention for sure. So many more people are following their passions. They're leaving the jobs that they don't love, and they're doing work that they do love, which is making a big difference in the world. I also want to bring up something that I recently channeled from Archangel Michael that has really had a profound effect on the way I see things. And that is, he said that the macrocosm is always connected to the microcosm of our lives. So what you may be healing in your life could be affecting the world, the universe. That's why he always says, everything you do, good or bad, is helping or hindering the world. We're all affecting the collective. So it's really fascinating. It's a whole new way to look at life. I think I'll leave it right there. Just some food for thought. So it's great to see you. Please share this if you feel this would help someone else. And until next time, take care.